Hello Fab Foodies, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to blow your mind, and we are making one of our most popular meal solutions, the Donair. So if you are an East Coaster, it's Donair. If you're a West Coaster, I believe it's a gyro or shawarma. Essentially same idea. Seasoned meat cooked in a loaf and then thinly sliced and served on flatbread with tomatoes, cucumbers, pickled red onions, and your choice of sauce. So West Coast sauce is generally a garlicky tzatziki. East Coast sauce is a sweet and garlicky Donair sauce. So I am going to make this for you. We're going to serve it tonight with the sweet East Coast sauce. So without further ado, here we go. The Donair is also one that is available in the 30, 60, and 90-day stay home meal solution collections. Currently available during this coronavirus pandemic. So I'm showcasing some of our best meal solution packs simply because if you order the 30, 60, or 90-day collection, it's nice to know what to do with some of the stuff that comes in there. So tonight for the Donair, what you need is 2 pounds of ground meat. We're going to use beef tonight because we haven't had beef this week. You can use a combination of beef and pork. You can use pork. You can use ground turkey. I have not made it vegan, but I know there are lots of consultants who have. If you would like to know how to make it vegan, please reach out and I will find the answer to that question. I don't have it currently. So it's really simple. 2 pounds of ground meat, and then you mix the seasoning with a 1/4 cup of water, and then add, so that's what's in here. Add that to the meat, and then super fun, get in there with your bare hands and just combine the seasoning into the ground meat. If you are grossed out by touching raw meat, then by all means wear gloves if you can find them. Currently might be more difficult to find gloves than you anticipate. And you just want to really incorporate the seasonings in there. So tonight we're making the traditional meatloaf Donair. So we're going to cook it and then you slice it real thin and serve it up. The Donair seasoning makes a really good burger. I did them last summer and everybody loved them, and I served them with the sauce and the pickled red onions and everything, only on a burger bun instead, and it was a huge hit. It makes this really great hot cheesy dip that you can serve with crackers and veggies as an appetizer at a party. What's a party? What's that? A gathering of more than 10 people. So it's cheesy, gooey, meaty seasonings, just delicious. What else have I done with the Donair? Actually, another consultant shared a recipe this week for cheeseburger fajita wraps, essentially. And you use a tortilla and you put the cooked ground beef with hamburger seasoning in and garnish with your cheese and pickles and lettuce and mayonnaise and ketchup and mustard and whatever. And I feel like this would be awesome done that way too, wrapped up in a tortilla and then grilled almost like on a panini press, so like a deconstructed burger. So there's lots of delicious ways you can use this. So this looks like we've got seasonings nice and combined in there. So next you take the meat and put it into your loaf pan. So I am using the rectangular steamer. It makes a great loaf pan, by the way. I bake banana breads in here. And so you want to just pack it nice and tight into a nice loaf shape. Keeping in mind that when it's cooked, you are then going to want to be able to slice it. So give it a nice, solid, tight, packed shape. And this is where I'm going to blow your mind. First, I'm not going to blow your mind. I'm just going to go wash my hands. So excuse the silence for a moment. Okay, so now that it has been nicely shaped like your loaf pan, this is the part that's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna go in the microwave in the silicone steamer. And cook on high for 13 minutes. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna get the rest of our stuff ready. So what I'm gonna do tonight, actually, I'm just gonna use our cutting board. It's non-slip, so it's got these great little feet, regardless of which side you have, so that it doesn't slide around on your surface. And I'm just gonna kind of set it up like a charcuterie board of toppings. So first I'm gonna make our East Coast Donair sauce. The recipe that I have calls for mayonnaise. We don't have any in-house, haven't made any in a while, so I'm just gonna use Greek yogurt. It'll have a slightly tangier flavor because of the Greek yogurt, where mayonnaise is sweeter and creamier. So it's personal preference, really. If you want to use Greek yogurt, go for it. If you want to use mayo, go for it. So it's half a cup of your choice, mayo or Greek yogurt. And then up to 2 teaspoons. Again, it's personal taste. We love garlic, so I'm doing 2 teaspoons of the roasted garlic aioli. I love this stuff. Where is my camera there? I don't know if you can see that. Roasted garlic aioli mix. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's roasted garlic deliciousness. So this is like, instead of garlic powder, it's Canadian garlic, so we know where it's sourced from. It's being roasted and then dried, ground into a powder, and it is absolutely delicious. It is your go-to garlic for everything. So 2 teaspoons of that. Now, the difference between the East Coast and the West Coast sauce is that the East Coast is a little bit sweet. The West Coast is all garlic all the time. It's a tzatziki, so it's your traditional lemon juice, Greek yogurt, shredded cucumber, and the roasted garlic with a good stir in there. So this one I'm making is the sweeter one. So to make it a little bit sweet, the recipe calls for sugar. We don't use refined white sugar around here. We just have cane sugar. That's actually what this is. I've been repurposing my containers. So again, I don't like it super sweet, and we don't eat a lot of sugar, so I'm going to use half a teaspoon of the organic cane sugar. Sorry, I'm getting a new teaspoon because I don't want to put garlic in my sugar. I'm going to use half a teaspoon in there just to give it a little bit of sweetness, but not too much. And then it's a teaspoon and a half of vinegar. Again, use whatever kind of vinegar you prefer. I would stick to white vinegar or apple cider vinegar or a white balsamic. The white balsamic might actually give you that little extra bit of sweetness, as dark balsamic is not the kind of flavor you want in this kind of sauce. So I'm using apple cider vinegar because that's what we have. I'm going to use 1.5 teaspoons. And mostly it's just enough to give you that tangy flavor that mixes with the sweet and the garlic and gives you a little bit of everything. And then stir it all together. And then traditionally this sauce is a little bit thinner than your tzatziki. So this is where you will add a little bit of milk of your choice, just to thin it out a little, so that it's almost like you could drizzle it or squeeze it out of a condiment bottle if you were ordering a Donair as a street food from a food truck. Essentially that's where Donair comes from. It is a food truck kind of food. So that thins it out just a little. And the addition of the apple cider vinegar to the yogurt and the milk gives it a little extra tang as well. So that's your East Coast sauce ready to go. So it will sit and just let the flavors develop while we get everything else ready. So we're gonna serve these with sliced tomatoes, sliced cucumber. You could probably spiralize the cucumber if he wanted. Actually, I might do that just so that it's more entertaining for my kids. So let me get my spiralizer. So our 2-in-1 spiralizer has 2 different ends. There's a noodle end and a ribbon end. So I feel like the ribbons might actually be a good choice for serving our Donair tonight. So you just kind of put the cucumber in to this like it's a pencil sharpener, and then around and around she goes. These, I'm going to pull them apart a little bit for serving so that each kid doesn't just pick up a whole thing, but you can make a nice big long piece if you wanted. You can wrap them back around and make like a little rose for a buffet or brunch. This, a little flour, and then you'd put your cherry tomato in there. Just gonna break them into pieces so that when it's time for the girls to come and join us for dinner, they have the option. Sorry, a little bit more, because they all like cucumber, everybody except their dad. He eats cucumber because he knows it's good for him, not because he likes it. Freshly sliced cucumber is a great source of vitamin C. Actually has more vitamin C than your orange juice. But vitamin C, because it is an antioxidant, it does break down very quickly once the cucumber has been sliced. So you want to slice within 20 minutes of serving so that you are getting the most punch of vitamin C from eating your cucumber. We're going to slice up some tomatoes. Tomatoes also have lots of great antioxidant power. They're a great source of lycopene, which is good for your heart. Most red veggies are good for that. They're also sources of vitamin C. So just slice these babies up. Not everyone in this house enjoys raw tomato, so I'm just going to slice up 3 of them so that there's enough for those of us who enjoy and we don't waste too much. We have about 5 minutes left on the actual meatloaf here, so we'll be pretty much ready to go by the time I'm done getting our condiments organized here. So I have those. We're also going to serve with pickled red onions. You can slice up raw, fresh red onions too, if you like. I'm not a huge raw onion eater. Some people love them. I do prefer the pickled ones, and all 4 of my children will gladly eat an entire jar full in one dinner if I let them. So you can, it's up to you. I can't find the quickles. So you can make quick pickles with our quickling mix, or you can have your own pickled version. If you don't want pickled ones, then definitely serve with fresh sliced red onion and lettuce. So we're going to use a combination here of just mixed greens. You could also throw some sprouts or microgreens, and I do have a little bit of chopped up romaine as well. So I just kind of leave a buffet of choices so that my kids can pick whatever kind of greens they prefer on theirs. We don't have pita, so we're going to serve them with naan breads. Again, they're similar. It's a flatbread. The pita is a little bit bigger and has the nice pocket so you can shove things in there. We don't have any pita, and I wasn't in the mood for making sourdough pita today. I do love my sourdough, but it's a labor of love, and it does require quite a few hours of fermentation, and so I didn't have the time to make pita today, but we do have the naan breads, so we will serve them almost like a naan bread taco with the sliced meat in there, the veggies, the sauce. You could serve with a Greek salad instead, so if you didn't want to put the greens into the bread, you could just put the meat and the tomatoes and the cucumbers with the sauce into your pita and then serve with a Greek salad on the side. And basically it's just super delicious. I hear explosions, so I'm going to actually pull this out of the microwave. It's only got about 2.5 minutes left, so I'm going to double check it. I think we might be done. A fork. I'm going to check the center. Essentially, if the center is done, we are done. I feel like I'm going to put the lid on for the last couple of minutes. That will stop the explosion. And finish the cooking time. Yeah, so that's everything. I will, how I'm gonna serve the naan breads, I'm gonna put them in our multi-purpose steamer. This is the big one. And heat them up because slightly warm naan breads are way nicer than just cold and or room temperature ones. So just stack them in there. Sure there's enough for everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 6 of us who live here, so 6 of them in there. And when that meatloaf is done, I'm gonna pop the lid on here, and then because there's 6 of them, I'll probably give them 3 minutes in here, and they will be nice and warm and steamy and pliable, but not cooked, not so hot that it burns your hand. They'll be delicious. So now we're just, so that is our meatloaf ready. I'm gonna leave it with the lid on for a couple more minutes, and it will just keep the steam in there and finish if there was any extra cook time that needed. By leaving the lid on, it will help finish that. I'm going to throw our naan breads in, give them 3 minutes, and they will be warm and steamy and delicious and ready to go. So that is East Coast Donair. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, if you don't own a microwave, the steamers are oven safe as well, up to 450 degrees, and you can bake the meatloaf in the oven. I believe it's 375 for about an hour, so average for a meatloaf. The steamer just gives you the shape. You won't have the time savings to cook in the oven with the steamer, but it's way easier to clean up because it is food grade silicone. You can just throw it in the dishwasher when you're done. There's no cooked on, caked on, burnt bits, which is definitely a side effect of meatloaf or anything essentially baked in a pan. You get all those crispy, hard baked on bits on the side. So the steamers are great for that. If you don't own a microwave and you're not a microwave cook, you can use your steamers in the oven. I use the large steamers in the oven all the time. They make great like chafing dish type of thing. I do shepherd's pie and baked mac and cheese, pot pies and all kinds of things in there. So you can definitely use them in the oven. But thanks for joining for this evening's East Coast Donair how-to super quick lesson, and I hope you learned something. And if you want to give it a try, check out my links and let me know. Thanks for joining. Have a great night.